Welcome to the Hollywood Raw Podcast, Raw Rundown, where we give you the top 10 stories in the world of pop culture. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there is Dax Holt. Yes, we are only covering pop culture news, so we're not getting into anything too political. It's all stupid high school stuff. We love celebrity. We love pop culture. We love Hollywood. Is that right, Dax?
I love it, and I don't even know why I love it, Adam. I can't explain it to people. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with Hollywood, and for sports stats don't stick in my head, but every detail about what the Kardashians have done over the last 20 years stays in my brain, and I don't know why that is, and it's embarrassing, but that's the truth.
It's so right, dude, how embarrassing it is. Like, for me, when I meet new people, like, I'm always trying to find that thing to bring people together, like in a conversation. Like, I pride myself on that. So I'll just bring up like useless, random celebrity pop culture stuff. And in my head, I think that's what's going to bring us together, and it doesn't. And then they're curious why I care so much about this stuff, and why do I have so much knowledge when it comes to celebrity stuff. But I don't know. It's just who I am. I'm watching a new show on Netflix right now, Dax, about these wives, moms from Texas. And I don't know what it is because I've been hurting for a new show. I've been wanting to go to the movie theater now because I want to go see the new Naked Gun movie, which got great reviews. But I'm waiting to go. I'm so poor, dude. I have to wait for Tuesday and Wednesday when the movie's half off. So, but this show called The Hunting Wives. It's what it says on the description. It's a soapy murder mystery full of nudity and intrigue about a group of Texas women who are up to no good. So that's what the show's about. There's
scandalous.
Yeah, but
Adam, sounds right up your alley.
Well, nudity is up my alley. The rest of the stuff I don't care about. But I'm watching the show so far. I'm like 2 episodes in, but I'm into it so far. Britney Snow's in the show. Britney Snow, I met her once. First of all, I think she's so pretty. I think Britney Snow is a very, very pretty girl. But one thing that turned me off, I remember years ago, this was over like 20 years ago, she was on this show called like American Dream on NBC. I don't know if you remember that show. Do you remember that show by any chance? It was actually, I think it was called American Dream. It was not a bad show, but she came.
Oh, you know what? That does sound familiar.
Yeah, well, she came to the comedy club I was working at, and nobody knew who she was. I was like, "Hey, you're Britney Snow." She's like, "No, I'm not." I was like, "You're Britney Snow." She's like, "No, I'm not." And she was getting very weird. And I was like, "All right, you're coming into the show. Let me see your ID." She's like, "I don't have my ID." I was like, "Then you can't drink." And I was like, "I'm not trying to make a big deal." But I'm like, "Oh, you're Britney Snow." And she was kind of weird about it. And I was like, I don't know. Like, imagine saying, "Oh, I think maybe she was going to a comedy club and didn't want to be picked on. She just wanted to enjoy the show." But I was like, "You're Britney Snow." And like, there's no way she wasn't.
And now I'm going to pick on you.
I know I should have. But the show Wives of Texas, whatever this thing, Hunting Wives, good show that I'm watching right now. How you doing? You watching anything good right now?
Not yet. I'm still sulking from the end of what was the show I was watching? Severance. How I didn't get to watch the end because the Hulu HBO subscription ran out, and I was too cheap to then actually re-up it to watch the last episode. So I just kind of moved along with my life.
Okay, I see how you do. Well, yeah. But my goal, I'm trying to do next week, but I'm sort of busy next week. The week after, I really want to see the Naked Gun movie. I just love the Naked Gun. Did you love that growing up, the Naked Gun?
I loved it. Honestly, some of my favorite movies.
So good.
The best.
Yeah, so good. So I want to go see that, and the reviews are good, and I want to see that. All right, today's our roll run. Then we get the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories? It goes by Google search. It goes by data. And lastly, it goes by our personal opinions, but ultimately comes to the data, what you guys are clicking on. Before we get to the raw rundown, Dax, do you have a review that you can read to us and make us feel good before we start?
I totally forgot to grab one today. I'm sorry. So we're going to have to skip past it, and I'll have one for next one.
All right. I forgive you, and so does the audience. I know someone's trying to see if they got a shout out, but that'll have to wait till next week. And if you want to give us reviews, the best thing to do to support this podcast, go on podcast app, put in Hollywood Raw, go to the bottom, say a few kind words, give us 5 stars. We'll actually read your review live on air. We'll give you a shout out. All right, let's get to the Raw rundown, starting with number 10.
Lindsay Lohan talked about some pretty shocking information about living in Dubai. She was on the Kelly and Mark show this week, obviously promoting the new movie Freakier Friday. And she said that the main reason she lives in Dubai is all about privacy. They are not allowed to take, number one, you can't have paparazzi. No one can take photos in the streets of you. But number two, any other person can't even take photos of you. No one can whip out their phone and snap a photo of her. It's against the law, which I thought that is pretty shocking. She said it's all about privacy over there. She can walk around, go out, eat, be a normal person, and no one can take her photo, which I just thought that has to be a breath of fresh air for someone like Lindsay Lohan, who has constantly for the last 20 years of her life, maybe even more, 30 years of her life, been photographed everywhere she goes, everything she does. She's had zero privacy. So to live in Dubai, she now can live like a normal life. I mean, people may look at you, but they can't document on their cell phone, which is pretty cool.
So the guy she's married to has hella money, correct?
I believe that is accurate.
Okay.
I believe
So
if you look in his bank account, it says hella money.
so I have never been to Dubai, but every single person who I've met says Dubai is incredible. And it's also incredible if you have hella money, if you have,
Correct.
so yeah, it's got to be pretty cool in Dubai when everything's obtainable. I have a buddy of mine who's just there recently, and whatever he wanted, whatever time of night, he could do whatever he wanted. And I think when you have that at your fingertips, it's got to be pretty incredible there.
I think that goes without saying anywhere in the world, Adam.
Yeah, but Dubai is a little bit different. I mean, California is going through something weird. New York's insane. So, like, America is
Dude,
kind of like a weird
if
place right
if you've
now.
got hella money, no matter where you're at, you're probably enjoying it.
True, true. But I'm sure there's something weird going on. Not weird, but unique going on there. As far as the privacy thing, I do believe that. I do think she probably likes being a little bit more
She's
private.
gotta
And
love that.
yeah, I'm sure she does that, but also be able to live in a country where everything's at your fingertips, and also you're able to kind of like it's pretty incredible there. Like,
She has always been the target of paparazzi photos, of regular civilian photos. So I gotta think that is a beautiful, beautiful blessing for
I
Lindsay
would just be
Lohan.
curious how often her family goes and visit her in Dubai, and when they do visit her, are they paying for the flight or is the husband paying for the flight? And also, when they do
Mm,
travel from Dubai back to America, are they flying private? Is it that type
no,
of money?
no, no. You fly on that like Air Dubai or whatever the hell that
Emirates,
airline is,
yeah.
Emirates, because it is awesome. You get your own little like cabin and stuff. So there's no reason to fly private when you could fly Emirates.
It's got to be nice. All right, number 9.
All right, the Foo Fighters have found their new drummer. This is a big deal. If you remember, Taylor Hawkins passed away back in 2022. That was their longtime drummer. They then replaced him with Josh Freese. And then they decided, no, this was not a good fit. They wanted to go in a different direction, is what they had said. And so they have now found a new man to fill that drumming spot, and it is Elon Rubin. He is going to be the new drummer. This is all according to the Hollywood Reporter. He has been a touring member for Nine Inch Nails. He's played for Paramore, Angels and Airwaves, New Regime, Lost Prophets. And so he seems like he would be a pretty damn good fit for Foo Fighters, and now going to be a full-time member. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if he's going to be a full-time member or it's just a touring drummer, but that is who they're adding to the lineup, because I think they were like, God, this tour is getting really close. We're going to have to kick it off pretty soon. I think it's beginning of October is when they're going to be heading to Indonesia, Singapore, Japan, and Mexico. And so they need to get this guy up to speed so he can start touring with them, because you need a drummer if you're going on tour. And so they have landed the dude.
I'm curious what that interview process is like for a new drummer. What are the questions? Do you sit you down and talk? What's the
They don't
referral
ask him
process?
questions. They say, play our song. Go.
Yeah, but is there a referral process? As a referral, do you sit down and talk for a little bit? How many times do you go and jam together for? Like, that's the part that I hope we learn from all this.
I think that they probably get a recommendation, hey, he's been in some really big bands. He's been touring with some really huge acts. Let's try him out. They probably jam with him, go, oh shit, he's really good, or let him play by himself and do it quite a few times. And they say, this guy is great. He's really, really talented. He can go with us.
Yeah, but also, do they sit him down, talk, and say, "Tell us about your life. Travel. Would you mind doing this?"
They don't
do we
care
get to
about
know
that.
you? You really don't think so? I guess they, there's
No,
no.
I don't think that matters, because it's, hey, I mean, they probably want to know if he's a cool dude, but like, can he play? Can he get out there and rock with us and give our fans what they need? Because you can have a touring member where you get along with them for a tour, but they're not a permanent member of the band. And then if they really like him after spending an entire tour with them, then maybe he gets to be a permanent member.
So when I was at the Dave Matthews Band concert recently, right? And there's a bunch of the ensemble in the band. There's Stefan, there's whatever the other guys are, and and I'm watching the band perform. And when I look at concerts, all I'm thinking about, I look back and see how many people are there. Then I look at the band and I try to think of how much each person in the band is getting every night. Are they getting? Is this guy the saxophone? Yeah, but like, is a saxophone player getting $5,000 for tonight? Is Dave coming out with $600,000 for that night's concert? Like, how does each concert add up as far as payment?
That would be a great information. Can you look into that for us?
Break it down and see how much how much is Dave.
I want you to find out the dirty details.
You know what? I want to give that a homework assignment to one of our listeners in our off the record. If one of our off the record listeners, private Facebook group, can figure out what the breakdown is for the bands, like a Dave Matthews Band.
I think every band is probably different. There's going to be some bands where it's equal across every member, and then there's going to be other bands where the lead gets more than the rest of the band. I think it just depends on who it is and what act is out there.
Music industry is very weird. Number 8.
Number 8, Denise Richards is claiming her estranged husband, Aaron Pfeiffer's, violated his restraining order. Every day I feel like this divorce is just getting nastier and nastier now. It's going back and forth with the different claims. She is saying that he stole her electronic devices, including her laptop, and is disseminating private information contained within them without permissions. And then Pfeiffer's responded to these claims in a statement to People, saying that the allegations are untrue and are being weaponized to damage my reputation and distract from the truth. That is basically the summing up of the whole thing. Remember, she was the big breadwinner in this relationship. She was the one bringing in $250,000 a month, according to these court documents, from her OnlyFans, her TV appearances, and other things that she is doing in media. He was not working at the time and saying that he now needs spousal support to keep going because he was making absolutely no money and she was bringing in all of it. So, yeah, it got gross real fast. Both of them accusing the other person of cheating on one another, saying, and I think that's where all these photo evidence and texts and all these things are coming into play, is because they both want to prove that the other one was unfaithful during the marriage. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is ruining a reputation. That's not going to help with, I think, payments in court. So if you want the money, I would suggest probably not making it so nasty, because it's not going to help out.
Yeah, there's some reports that Denise Richards was seeing her coach on that reality show they were doing. It was the show where she's like a Navy SEAL. I don't know if you saw that, but she was like, it was like a training. What was the show called? It was whatever. She was on the show where they tried to be a Navy SEAL. It was on Fox. And there's reports that she was seeing the coach on the show. Is that true? I don't know. But this is not a good breakup. I mean, I feel like this is what, now 3 weeks in a row that we've been covering this, where it's just a new thing every single week. Yeah. It's, who knows who's going to do the first interview.
We've talked more about them and their divorce than we've talked about Denise Richards in the last 20 years.
It's going to be, hopefully we don't talk about them next week. Number 7.
Oh, such a great piece of iconic Hollywood memorabilia is going up on the auction block, and that is Britney Spears' 2007 Mercedes-Benz We talked a little bit about this earlier in the week. And, this is the Mercedes that we all saw driving through the streets of LA through some of the craziest Britney Spears moments, photographed probably 1 billion times. It is now going to be auctioned off. And it's I guess for the last 15 years, it's been on display at the Volo Auto Museum in Illinois. They are now ready to part with it. I think this thing could rake in some serious cash just because of it being related to Britney Spears, and I would arguably say one of the most fascinating times in Hollywood history. Not just her, but the Lindsay Lohan time. 2007 was a pretty iconic year for Hollywood history. And this piece of memorabilia being her car, and how much we saw it out and photographed, and the car accidents it was in, the times that she was wearing the wigs, the all of it, I think could be a pretty good talking piece to have at someone's house.
Yeah, it would be cool to have that. What it finally goes for will be an interesting number. I'm curious how many bids they actually get. It's yeah. I actually like watching car auctions. Do you ever watch a car auction like on TV?
Never once.
Okay, I'm weird like that, but it is sort of interesting to see some of the cars. Like I saw a car at the auction recently it was one of Paul Walker's cars from the movie Fast and Furious, which I thought was what would you rather have, Dax? A car from the movie Fast and Furious or Britney Spears' car?
I mean, it's embarrassing to say, but I'd rather have Britney Spears' car. Except if it was that Shelby Mustang, the one from like the original.
Yeah.
That one would be pretty dope.
I don't know, man.
I feel like there were so many. The thing is, I feel like the Fast and the Furious movies, there's so many cars. There's not like one iconic car that for the whole movie. I mean, if you think of like Transformers and Bumblebee, like maybe there's that level. But this car, I mean, I spent half my career covering her driving around in this car in Hollywood, so it would be kind of interesting to see this car or own it.
You know what's so funny? Well, not funny, but one of the most underrated museums. I'm not a museum guy, but I think it was the last time I was in LA or 2 times ago. I went to the car museum in LA. Do you know that car museum? It's you know it? Have you ever been there? It's actually pretty cool because they have like the original Back to the Future car. They have one of the Batman cars.
The Batman car.
Yeah, I was like really into it. I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like movie history and stuff.
I'll go to a car museum. I'll go to a car show. I've never watched a car auction though.
I've watched the car auctions because they're interesting, and I'm not a car guy, but I can appreciate it. And they got some cool cars. All right, number 6.
Number 6, obviously Hulk Hogan passed away earlier this week, and one of the big things that came out of this is that Brooke Hogan has asked to be taken off Hulk's will. Kind of a shocking move, but they found out that she will receive nothing from his estate. And this information, I think, shocked a lot of people. We know that there was a bit of a strained relationship between her and her father over the last few years. Something that she has been processing, and something that I don't think anyone can necessarily relate to. I've seen people trashing her online, and it's like, listen, at the end of the day, you weren't in the family. You don't know what she went through. And you can't also know what she is doing, how she is grieving at this moment. But apparently she decided to remove herself from the will to stay out of all of the legal proceedings. This happened back in, I guess, 2023. She asked to be removed from the will because she didn't trust a single person around him, didn't want to get caught up in the financial battle when he passed. And she, I guess, wanted to protect her dad from all the people she felt were taking advantage of him. And I think that was one of the big issues, was who he was getting married to and who he was surrounding himself. It really took a toll on the whole family. And then, I guess, years of disagreeing with her father over the matter, she reached out to the financial manager and said, please remove me from the will. I do not want to have any of this headache when he passes away. And so that's it. She will get nothing from his estate. And keep in mind, that's probably going to be a lot of money, especially with the memorabilia, especially with just his name and his likeness. A lot of these estates become very lucrative after people pass away. If you remember, Michael Jackson was in extreme debt when he passed away, but that all rebounded because of his likeness, his music, and all of that. The people that tend to listen, the shows that were made, the movie that was made, it fueled a lot of money back into the estate, and I'm assuming that will happen with Hulk. There are going to be a lot of people walking around looking like him for Halloween. It is not really clear who will inherit Hulk's entire estate, all the trademarks, intellectual property, and the other assets, but Brooke will not be one of them.
So I like perspectives, but in this situation, in this story, I don't really have an angle or a perspective on this. Yes, Dex, because like I'm sort of torn. Like we've had Brooke on the podcast,
Dude,
and I enjoyed her, and she was great. But I'm like, is this? She's like, what? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about
because
this.
money tears people apart, and I think she got to the point where she's like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, it's not worth my mental sanity to have to deal with people fighting over him, his money, his legacy. Like, she's like, he was my dad. He's not my cash cow like he is to so many other people that are around her, because when you get the Klingons that are just around you for the fame and the money, and he's starting to trust those people, she was over it. She wanted out of it. She didn't want to fight her dad for all these years. So.
I mean, her kids, when they get older, are like, Mom, you could have had so much money. Come on. But I also respect the other side of it, saying, listen, this is just not good for my mental health. I just want to keep myself out of it. I'll be financially always okay. And also, she liked living a normal life. She was on our podcast. She kind of appreciated kind of living.
She was our favorite guest ever.
Yeah.
Our favorite interview ever. And I will say she is probably one of the most grounded, down-to-earth celebrities I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
And so I would say she doesn't necessarily make wackadoodle decisions. So there had to be a lot of thought that went into that. And for her to pull herself out, I would trust what decision she made, honestly.
I agree with you. She was one of my favorite guests. So humble, and like you said, so grounded, where I just think her feet are on the ground well. Like, she knows what she's doing. And that's just a very scary situation that we might not know what really was going on also on Hogan's inner circle. Yep. Number 5. Yep.
Ozzy Osbourne, had to say goodbye to him this week. Well, they had his funeral, and it went down as you could expect it, in a beautiful honoring ceremony. Number one, they paraded. They did the hearse through the streets of Birmingham, and it was like exactly, I think, what Ozzy would have wanted. His fans lined the streets. The hearse passed through. His fans went crazy. And then there were some pretty touching moments, because Kelly and Jack and Amy and Sharon all stopped by the big memorial that had been set up by this bench that is dedicated to the band. And there's so many flowers and letters and pictures, and you see Sharon just bawling, and they all had on special little items of Ozzy's. Like, Sharon had his wedding ring around her neck, and Kelly was wearing his iconic purple, like, circular sunglasses. And then they ended up having the funeral back at the estate. It sounds like he's being buried next to this lake that they have at their estate. And I saw Rob Zombie showing up, and Marilyn Manson, and a lot of those people that I think have a career thanks to Ozzy Osbourne and the Prince of Darkness. So I just think, what a way to go out. You have this tribute concert to you 2 weeks prior. The world celebrates you. Your friends and family come in from around the world. Your fans are there cheering you on. And then you kind of check that off your bucket list, and you move on to the next life.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've met Ozzy like twice. I actually have an autograph from Ozzy at home, which will be kind of cool to have. But he was like, thing about Ozzy, when you see on the show, again, it was a show, but from what it looked like on the outside, I thought he was like a good father. Like, it was like he really did care about his kids, and they had a great relationship with his kids and with Sharon. So the whole thing is sad, but I'm happy they did have that going away concert. So it was our way to kind of
Agreed.
celebrate him a little bit before this. I mean, it's obviously it was going through it's a very tough loss, but it was like when you see the videos of him at that concert, he was with it. He was nice. I saw this great video. He was with Youngblood, and Youngblood came in and gave him a gift, and he gave, he mentally seemed with it, and he said to Youngblood, he goes, "Go over, take over America, then you take over the world." And I've heard that from other
He
artists.
he thought that he just said, "I see myself." Like he was looking at Youngblood, being like, "This guy is me.
Yeah,
Like this looks like me. He acts like me. Like this is the next version of me."
and it was just like but it was very sweet when he was with them, and I don't know. I think Ozzy was a very cool person, a very interesting person, and a very he was so original. It really was. So I'm glad they're able to celebrate him in the way they should. Number 4.
Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas. It is confirmed they are a couple. They were spotted out in Vermont holding hands, walking through the streets. There's been a lot of rumors of them being together, and nothing had been really confirmed. Well, now they have been pictured, and they are definitely a couple.
Dude,
And
yeah, the
it's
photo's
always
weird,
to
man.
see.
Yeah, the photo of Tom Cruise like in like a normal place holding hands with a girl.
It's so weird.
It's almost like
You
a
never
mop
see
on his
that.
head. It's just unique to see him in a
I
natural
feel like
habitat.
you don't see Tom Cruise walking around in a t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes with a hat on. Like it's just he is one of those people that is never out in public, and so for them to be walking around in the streets, it doesn't have. He is not. I'm going to say this. Tom Cruise is not a normal person. He does not go out shopping. He doesn't go to the grocery store. He doesn't walk through the streets. He is way too famous for that. So to see him hanging out with Anna, just holding hands, is a very weird, bizarre sight.
Yeah, it's even like the way he wears a hat is. I don't want to say it's weird, but I'm like, pull your hat down. Like it's unique. But hey, good move for Anna de
I wouldn't. The
Armas.
thing I will say, because he's so famous and because he could have walked by me, because even if I looked over and saw him, because he's got the sunglasses, he's got the hat on, I think I wouldn't believe it's Tom Cruise, because I'd be like, Tom Cruise doesn't go out. Like I've been doing this for a long time. I would look over, I'd be like, that dude looks like Tom Cruise, but it's probably not, because Tom doesn't leave his
You know, it's
house.
so funny, Dax. So you know who walked by me in the city the other day? I was walking last week in New York City with a buddy of mine, and this guy walked by me. I took a second look. I was like, that can't be him. And he's walking by himself. And then the next day, I found out he was in New York. I was like, oh, that was him. It was Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that I was
I thought we were gonna have like a big name. I
no,
didn't.
dude. Well, that guy. I'll tell you what, that guy could possibly run for president soon. So
I was waiting for David Beckham. I was
no,
waiting for Ronaldo,
no.
Messi, someone, and you're like Pete Buttigieg.
Dude, I just think that guy is going to run for president in the next election. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I had to say it to my buddy, like, dude, Pete Buttigieg walked by us. I didn't think it was him, so I didn't say anything. But the next day I was like, oh, that was him. So, all right. Number 3.
Justin Timberlake. Everyone's been making fun of him all over social media. Well, now you're going to feel like a bunch of assholes because he's got Lyme disease. He revealed that he has been struggling with some health issues and revealed that Lyme disease is at the base of it. He basically said on Thursday morning in a heartfelt Instagram post that he revealed this news about kind of reflecting on the past 2 years, both fun, gratifying times, and physically demanding as well. But he said that he was diagnosed with Lyme disease, which is a bacterial infection. It's spread to humans by ticks. Unclear how serious it is, but he said he wants to shed some light on the difficulties and that he is not looking for sympathy. However, he did say, quote unquote, living with this can be relentlessly debilitating both mentally and physically. And then he goes on to say the diagnosis clarified so much of the pain that he felt while performing. And even though he's been having all this pain, he goes, despite the pain, that he couldn't dream of giving up performing, explaining that he decided the joy of performing brings me far outweighs the fleeting stress that my body was feeling. So I'm glad I kept going. He is not the only big celebrity to have Lyme disease. It's weird. It's like Lyme disease is like the famous person disease, because we know Justin Bieber revealed he had Lyme disease back a couple years ago. Shania Twain, Avril Lavigne, Daryl Hall, Kelly Osbourne. All of the Hadids have Lyme disease. I hear that it can be extremely painful, but it was kind of like the big explanation of what Justin Bieber was going through and why he was having all this depression. And then when they were trying to figure out what meds to put him on, he had all these breakouts. I've heard that it is not a fun disease to have. And so everyone making fun of him. Now you look like an asshole.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand that people. I understand they were pissed off, and they're pissed off because they paid a lot of money to go see him do a concert. And what did he do? They played his music. He didn't really sing. He kept putting the microphone to the crowd. So they have the right to be upset. I just don't know how you handle that. And Justin Timberlake saying, "Hey, listen, like I might have to start taking off shows. Maybe it goes into your touring as far as scheduling, where you can't do shows 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row. Like you might need to take more breaks." But obviously, he was trying to be. He now has to be transparent with his audience because he was getting so much flack about his live shows, but rightfully so. Those people are pissed off.
They pay a lot of money. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
but you'll still look like an asshole.
Yeah, yeah. Number 2.
Didn't see this coming. Katy Perry out on a date with Justin Trudeau, obviously the former Prime Minister of Canada. He went to her show the other night, and then the two of them were seen grabbing some food at this swanky restaurant in Montreal. I don't really know what is happening here. This went down on Monday night, and it literally looks like the two of them at a table. Granted, the picture is kind of like taken over a ledge, so you kind of just see their heads, but I don't think that there was anyone else at the table. So they apparently sipped on cocktails, shared a couple dishes, including lobster, and that their security guards kept tabs on them, sitting at the bar with their backs kind of turned, monitoring the, I would say, date through a mirrored glass. So not sure what's happening. This would be a strange turn of events. Obviously, Katy Perry is going through a divorce right now with Orlando Bloom. Wait, divorce or just a split? Were they married?
Yeah,
they weren't married.
They were married. They were pretty much, yeah.
So her split from Orlando Bloom, they've got a kid together, and Trudeau and his ex-wife Sophie separated back in 2023 after 18 years of marriage. So not sure how they met, not sure if this is something a little bit more, but it looks like Katy Perry was definitely having a good time on this one-on-one with Justin Trudeau.
Yeah, I mean, I would not see this thing coming, but they were seen 2 separate times having a meal, talking, and then he was seen at her concert. I'm sorry, like that's not casual friend meeting, like just hang out. Like I think there's definitely some interest on both ends, and I didn't think that Katy Perry would be moving that quickly, but yeah, I'm just curious how they even connect. I mean, maybe he was doing a show in her area.
I don't know. It's so random. I mean, he went to the show, but I'm assuming he already had been talking to her at some point to get the tickets to go to the show. I mean, they have to have some connection we just don't know about.
Pretty crazy. If they really end up together and become a real couple, that's going to be pretty wild.
It would be wild.
Dax, the number 1 story of the week.
Sydney Sweeney is the devil, and so is American Eagle. No, I'm just kidding. That's just what the internet is saying right now. They are so pissed off over her new ad for American Eagle, where it basically zooms in on her chest and then her butt and says, Sydney Sweeney has good genes. They spell it out as jeans, as in her denim, but they obviously are making reference to genetics, and people are very upset, saying that this is sparking debates on race and beauty standards in America, and her being a white person and saying she's got good genes, and now her beauty, and you got to have big boobs to be beautiful and have good genes, and people are taking this very, very seriously. I thought that it was a silly little commercial. I did not realize how many buttons it was going to push across America and the backlash that it was going to create.
But do you think that Sydney Sweeney knew how much backlash and craziness it would kind of create.
I think even for her, she didn't realize that this was going to, because I guess they could do this same commercial with women of different sizes, shapes, backgrounds, colors, everything, and still make it work. I guess I didn't realize that, it would cause such a fury. I really didn't.
Yeah, I there's a lot of Doja Cat was speaking about this and was very, very upset. Lizzo, I think, has gotten now involved in the conversation. A lot of people are very outspoken against this Sydney Sweeney thing. She hasn't really responded to all the allegations and stuff. Well,
I guess where
the controversy
where I'm
this.
trying to what I'm trying to understand from both sides is like, was it the way that it was filmed, or was it, because they didn't say she is the most beautiful person in the world. They said she's got good genes.
Yes.
Right? Can you say someone has good genetics without saying like they are the ideal specimen on the planet, or this is the only person that we think is hot? Like, I don't know. Maybe I missed. I don't know. I feel like you could then turn around and make the same commercial with Doja Cat, with Lizzo, and still be able to like pull across the same message and say she's got good genes, because all these women have good genes. They just happen to start with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This just struck a nerve with people. And I think this is people, some of them, I understand their side. I just didn't see this thing coming. I also think some of this comes to her people that are just angry with Sydney Sweeney. Like, it's just, feuding is almost good for business, for everyone, to speak up and to start. It's like wrestling. It's like WWE. So I think it's good.
But do you really think that many people are upset over this? Or is this like it got legs on social media, and when one person speaks up, then other people speak? Like, I feel like we are so tame in the way that we have commercials these days that I am really shocked that this was the commercial that pissed people off. Like, I have seen some terrible commercials over the year. I'm just surprised this is the one that is getting the bullet target on it.
I'm just crazy that this was the number one story this week and how many people got involved, and people were just upset.
Because Sydney Sweeney does it again.
She does it again. People are like pro Sydney Sweeney. They're against her. I mean, she's good at ruffling the feathers, I guess.
And as much as I'm sure American Eagle's like, God damn, we didn't want to start up a shitstorm, it's good for business.
It's good for business.
Everyone's talking. When was the last time we talked about American Eagle?
Yeah, it is very, very good for business.
Sydney Sweeney brings publicity to whatever she touches. It's truly amazing.
It is. That is our Raw Rundown, the top 10 stars of the week. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Give us a review on the Apple Podcast app. It really helps us out. Follow our private Facebook group, Off the Record. And you can follow me at Adam Glyn. You can follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Guys, hope you like that video. We got a lot more where that came from.
Hit that bell, like, subscribe, share with a friend. The best you can do to support us is really doing that. And we really need the money because we need hair gel.